it's Charlene from the Crafty Art Shack, and we're back here today with another challenge video. So let's get to the craft desk and get started, and I'll tell you more about it in just a few minutes. Alright, here we go with DIY number 1. Now for this DIY, you're going to need 2 Jenga blocks, and I took some glue and hot glue and stuck these together. Now, because these are official Jenga blocks, they do have the word on the side and that little crack on the front. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my lightweight spackling from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to fill in the crack, and I'm going to fill in the little crevices on the sides where they've engraved Jenga on there. After that's good and dry, what I did is I've got some of that Waverly antiquing wax, and I put on my gloves for this because I don't like getting stuff on my hands. And I am going to stain these blocks all the way around on all of 6 sides of it. And yeah, I'm not too impressed with this antiquing wax. I personally would rather stain something than to use this wax. Maybe I'm not using it right. I don't know. But anyway, I put this all over the blocks until I get it the desired color that I want. And I ended up getting a paintbrush out so I could put it on pretty thick. Now I wanted to put little holes in this, so I'm going to take my Dremel and I'm going to drill me 2 holes at an angle. And you need to start out with your drill going straight in at first and then angle it to get this to work. Now once I get that done, then I'm going to take my little wire. Now I'm going to take this and kind of bend it in a U shape to get it to the size that I want it. And I want it to go down inside my little holes. So you want to bend it in a U shape, and then the ends of it, stick it to the side where it comes out the side of your block. And then you're just going to take a little pair of jewelry pliers, and you are going to curl this on the end. Now once I got that like I wanted it, it stays in there just like you put it in. And then I'm going to take these little scrapple pieces, and I am going to glue them to the front of my 2 little blocks. I'm going to take some of this little pink checkered ribbon or material that I got from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to take and fray the edges of it, and then I'm going to also rip it right down the center because I decided that this is too wide for me. Then the next thing I did is I took a baby wipe, put some of that antiquing wax on it, and I'm going to dirty up this little piece of material because I don't want it to look bright and fresh. I want it to look kind of antique-y looking. Now the next thing I did is I took and slit that material and made it into little strips even after I already tied it on, because I didn't want them to be so wide. It just didn't look right. So I just ripped it right down the center. And then we'll see the rest of this at the final reveal. Now, today's video is what would you make? It's an open invite challenge, so if you're interested in participating, let me know or let one of these ladies know. And it's hosted today by OK at Home DIY, and also hosted by ConniesCreativeCreations, and guest host is HappinessCreated. Go check out these ladies and their channels and show them some love. Also check out the ladies on the playlist and the gentlemen too, because they're doing some awesome crafts out there and you don't want to miss them. So go check them out. Now here we go with DIY number 2. Now for this DIY, you're going to need 2 pieces of these fake wood blinds. Now I have my ruler out, not necessarily to do some measuring, but I use the end of the ruler to make my little hole that I'm going to put in this little tag. Now I've seen a lot of ladies make these tags using these big signs from the Dollar Tree. Now I can't always find those, so I am going to make my own tags from these fake wood blinds, and I'm going to trim them down to fit for my whatever it's called. I'm getting tongue-tied. So I'm trimming up the edges. Now, if your edges are rough, you can sand this stuff. It does sand very good. And you just want to make sure that you're cleaning up all the little pieces off of your blinds so that they look clean. Now I'm taking a hole punch, and this is how easy it is to use these, and you can punch a hole in it. Now you can also use these blinds with your Cricut maker machine, and then what I'm going to do is just trace out the other one and cut it out too. Now after I get everything cut out and I've got them sanded, I'm going to take that ballet slipper and that crimson from Waverly, and I am going to paint each one of these a different color. One's going to be pink, one's going to be red. I always start out with the lighter color first, because then you don't have to clean your brush when you go to the darker color, and it just adds character to it. Now I'm going to hold it with my little paint pliers, because I do not like getting paint on me at all. After you get them painted on the front and back, now the next thing I'm going to do is, once that paint dries, I'm going to take these little washers and I'm going to super glue them onto the top of my tag to make like the little edge on it. And then I'm going to do the same thing for the red one as well. Now for this pink one, I'm going to write Be Mine on it, and then I'm using the fine Sharpie marker. Then I'm going to come back with my larger Sharpie marker, and I'm going to make the little dots on each of the letters so that it just dresses them up some. And then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take those little stickers that you see sitting up there to the top of the screen, and I'm going to add them to my little sign. I measured across there and 3 of them will fit, but I decided I wanted to take and make one of them hang off the edge, and then I'm going to use the other half on the other side, and you save yourself a sticker for another project. Now I've got the front and back of that one done. Now the next thing I'm going to do, yeah, that one's still wet. So we made this little bow out of our pink checkered material. Now our red sign is dry now. So what we're going to do is we're going to add little hearts to it. And I'm going to cut them in different shapes and place them on my little tag. And then I'm going to write XOXO all over this in different places, and then I'm going to glue my 2 tags together and add my little bow, and we will see this at the final reveal. Now here we go with DIY number 3. Now for this DIY, I found one of these little mason jars. It did have a Dollar Tree tag on it, but it came from the thrift store. And what I'm doing is I'm removing all the glue and everything off of it, and I'm going to paint it white with Rust-Oleum Linen White Chalk paint. I decided to paint the back side of this instead of the chalkboard side, and I was very careful not to get any paint on the back side of the chalkboard. While I'm waiting on that paint to dry, I printed off me some letters that says secret ingredient is love, and I trimmed around them really close. Now what I'm doing here is I'm putting packing tape on the back of my project, or the back of my words, and I'm peeling it off so that I can make it thinner, so that when I Mod Podge this on, it doesn't look like a piece of paper is just stuck on there. It looks a little bit better. Now I'm looking to see where I want to place my letters. Now I cut this out of one of those tin pans, and I took and put my jar over the top of it and put it up there, and took my embossing tool and embossed those little lines on it. And then I glued it down with some hot glue, and then I'm going to my marker's not working. I couldn't get the white marker to work, but I'm going to use my silver one, and what I'm doing here is I'm adding little marks to my jar to make it look more realistic, and then I'm tracing around the outside of my jar to embellish it before I do any Mod Podging on this. So what I'm doing is I'm putting down gloss Mod Podge, and the reason why I'm going over every bit of this is because that gloss is going to make it look more like a jar and give it that shine, so that glob that I have in the middle is going to be where I put my secret ingredients sign at. But I'm going to paint the whole jar with this gloss look, so, and doing this stroke straight up and down so that it causes it to look like a jar. Then I Mod Podge my letters down, and then I take a piece of plastic wrap and put it over the top, and I rub my letters and get all the air bubbles and everything out, and then I'll take my piece of plastic wrap off of this. And then I'm going to add some little hearts that came off my sticker page from the Dollar Tree. I'm trying not to place all the colors in the same place. And then I'm going to take another piece of that checked material, and I'm going to tear me a strip of it, and I'm going to wrap it around the top of my jar, and then I'm going to add my little wire to my jar. Now, when I glue this little wire on and I twisted it up around my pencil, and then I stuck it in there and glued it down, and then we'll see the rest of this at the final reveal. Here we go with DIY number 4. For this DIY, I got one of those Dollar Tree heart trucks, and I painted it with Rust-Oleum Linen White Chalk paint. Then I took this piece of metal pan and I laid it over the little hearts, and I traced out the little heart hubcaps and trimmed them out in this little tin pan. I'm gathering up all my other pieces that I'm going to need. I'm making me a little bow. I cut a piece of wire for the hanger for this, and I also am cutting any other metal pieces that I need. Now, I noticed that it didn't have fenders on it, so I wanted fenders on my truck, so I went and got some more pieces of those mini blinds that I used in other projects, and I'm tracing out where the fender would be, and then I'm going to cut them out and paint them white for the truck. I guess I didn't paint them white, I painted them with the ballet slipper in the color pink ballet slipper, you know what it is. Oh, you guys, sometimes I get tongue-tied. So I'm painting these little blind pieces, which is faux wood, and I am going to make sure I get all the edges of this really good. Now, I can kind of still see the lines on there from where I painted the white chalk paint over this, and I'm going to start out by using chocolate sprinkle. I believe that's the color I used, and I'm going to paint the little rails on the back of the truck. It's either chocolate sprinkle or nutmeg that I used. Now the next thing I'm going to do is paint all my little hearts. Now how I get the shading on my hearts is I use the pink and the red at the same time. So you see me going and picking up some on my brush, and then that automatically does the shading for you, and it's just that easy. And I'm going to paint all my little hearts this way. The next thing I do is I go in with some white, and I take and highlight all my little hearts. Now this is just white apple barrel paint, and I am going to go through and do a little zigzag motion and some other things to embellish this. And the next thing I do is I take my little fenders and I go around them with some of the pink paint, and then I'm going through the door, and I'm basically painting the rest of the truck just like I did the hearts, but I'm using more pink than I am red in those. And so I'll just continue painting this the same way, and I drop down different colors of pink and the red to get the colors that I want. Then the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take my black paint, and I'm going to use the multi-surface one, and I'm going to paint my little tires. And like I said, I can still see the little tires from the lines on there, and I don't mind if I get some on my little hearts that are on my wheels, because they are going to be covered up with the tin pan that we cut out at the first of the video. Now after I get my little wheels painted, I'm going to glue on my fenders. Now I just put these on with hot glue. They seem to bond pretty good with the wood, and I don't have any problems with them. Now I'm showing you that I missed a little spot there, and I'm going to just put a touch of pink on it and touch it up, and that way it won't show on my fender. And then I'm going to glue the front fender on as well, and then I'm going to glue the little hearts on the wheels and my bumpers and my little door handle. Now once I get the little metal pieces on, I take and put a little heart in the center of it, and then I put a heart on the door. Then I add my little handle that I pre-made, and then you get that spiral thing by using a pencil. And so then I'm gonna bend my little pieces down so that I can hot glue them in place. And then I'm going to start adding other embellishments like the little sticker hearts and the bow. Then there's no project complete unless you go and do your doodling all over the project. So I go through and take my little paint pen and add little dots to this and add little highlights. And this just turned out so cute, you guys. And we'll see the rest of this at the final reveal. Okay, today's video is a what would you make open invite challenge. So if you're interested in participating, let me know and I'll get with these ladies and see if we can't get you started. And the host today is Okay at Home DIY, also hosted by Connie's Creative Creations, and guest host Happiness Created. Y'all go check out these ladies and their channels and show them some love, and also go check out the ladies on the playlist and tell them that I told you about them. And they'll be excited that you came over to watch their videos as well. So go check them out. You don't want to miss it. Now, at this time, we'd like to thank our subscribers for subscribing to our channel. We love you bunches and really appreciate it. And here's the final reveal. Alright, y'all, we're back from the craft desk, and all these little crafts turned out absolutely adorable. I love this faux wood little sign that says Be Mine and XO, and you can make little tags out of these. They turn out really cute, and you can use them at all times of year. There are so many things that you can make out of these faux wood blinds. So if you haven't seen all the things that you can make out of it, watch some of the other videos on my channel, because I show you things that people wouldn't believe you could make out of them. So, you guys, if you don't want to miss an episode of the Crafty Art Shack, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and share, because you don't want to miss an episode. We're always doing something fun, always doing something new. And we'll see you in the next video. We'll see you later. Bye.
If you don't want to miss an episode of the Crafty Art Shack, subscribe. Art Shack. I'm doing this for the holidays, or yeah, whatever it's gonna be. I want to thank y'all for I forgot what I was gonna say. Because you don't want to miss an episode. We're always doing something fun, always doing something new. And we'll see you in the next video. We'll see you later. Bye.